Did you always know that you wanted to be an actor?
Oh, Barkha, I always knew it. I'm
Like,
living my
do you remember
dream.
that memory? Like, do you remember where you were, what you were watching? when
Very
you said-
clearly. I mean, I don't remember that exact moment, but it was between the ages of maybe 9 to 12. I was about 12 or 13 when I told my mom I'm going to be an actor. Nobody really took me seriously because they were like, yeah, sure. It doesn't really happen. Also, the kind of family that I come from, koi lawyer hai, engineer hai, they are doctors, it's just that very typical family where academics is really, really celebrated, and rightly so.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I decided, or the reason I wanted to be an actor was because I felt so empowered on stage. A lot of it was also to do with maybe the experiences I had growing up in school. Look, kids can be mean at times, right?
Yeah. So what happened? What do you remember?
I think
about?
it was just bullying, being commented on the way you look, being commented on your size, having breasts that have developed sooner.
Do you remember it scarring you?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
deeply.
what were the kind of things kids would
Deeply.
say?
I think I remember this incident very well when I went back into my class and there was like a piece of paper that had triple B written on it. And I tried to decipher it. It stood for Big Boobs Bhumi. But when you're young, these things really, really impact you.
Yeah.
But I'm so lucky because every time I went back home, and I went back home with tears many
How
times.
old were you when this happened?
I think this was class 7.
And had a boy written it or a girl?
I think there were boys and girls together
Both,
that had
yeah,
written it.
yeah.
I went back home and I'm just very lucky I'm born in a family that always protected me, right? So for all the times that I felt inferior in school, every time I came back home, I felt extremely superior. I think that's why I've turned out to be the way I am.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, because I know even so many years later it couldn't be easy. But
I strongly believe that all of us are a sum total of our childhood trauma.
I agree.
It is not spoken about enough. It is not spoken about at all, actually. And it's a privilege. I truly feel I'm very privileged that, again, I'm born in a family where I could discuss this openly and I was always very protected. This is just one of the times. There have been a series of events. But every time I was on stage and I would see all of those kids that were bullying me, I felt so empowered. And I suddenly felt like I have the power back. And I think that's how the germ of me wanting to become an actor started.
But can you talk a little bit about going from this experience of being a child who was mocked for her body in school to coming into an industry where they never let you forget your body size, right? Sure. And for you, for your debut, Dam Laga Ke Haisha, you had to actually gain weight. And that it wasn't only that you were applauded for being a method actor or so on. There was some serious trauma in that moment also, I'm sure, in terms of how people reacted.
It was very interesting because I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that I have landed a film. And I'm supposed to, it was my debut film. It was a secret, and that I'm going through this transformation. So somebody that met me in January to somebody that met me in December that year, I was a different person.
There you are.
Because yes, there I am, so pretty, so beautiful. I loved her.
It was such a great film, by the way.
Such a great film.
Such a great film.
So what was really interesting was the gaze with which people saw me changed.
Yeah.
Because I gained about 35 kgs. After 35 kgs, I stopped counting and suddenly people were like, are you okay? Are you depressed?
Yeah.
Do you need support? Yeah. And internally I was like, oh, you guys have no idea. This is the best phase of my life. I am going to do a movie. Yeah. And honestly, I would have chopped a finger, shaved off my hair, done anything. Because I don't come from a background of films.
Right.
There were many, many hurdles that I had to go through, starting within my home, where my parents wanted to protect me, and they were like, how can you go into the world of movies, the bad world of movies, and then just not having the confidence of fitting that box of what a mainstream Hindi film heroine should be like. And I was casting. So my job was to look for these girls. And the requirements were pretty much very tailor-made and similar, and I didn't ever think I would fit that. But then from within the same production house that wanted girls looking a certain type. They did something so disruptive, and they pretty much changed the way a Hindi heroine is. At least they contributed to it in a larger way, the way a Hindi heroine is going to be looked at.
You mentioned about first having to convince your family who wanted maybe other dreams for you. What did they want you to be, if I may ask?
It was very, very varied. From becoming an IFS officer to becoming a doctor. The spectrum was very large.
Did any of that attract you?
I mean, I do want a place in the public sector in the future, for sure. And I think a lot of that also comes from the fact that I am very patriotic. I'm just born in that family where country first was always taught, and I love my country, which I did say many a times within this conversation.
Yeah.
But I did maybe think that getting into the Indian Foreign Services could be something that I would like, but I just enjoyed performing a lot more. I did not leave as a single opportunity in school. It could be a debate, elocution, singing. I've done everything just because I wanted to be in front of a live audience.